it will totally shut the meeting down, and you'll have to restart the meeting, and everyone present will have to rejoin.
For the 40, if you only exceed 45 minutes. Okay.
It may be 30 minutes. I don't know. I mean, most of us at my job use it, but the job pays for it. And so if anybody up in management is hosting something, then it, stays good. But if any of us host, it dies after 30 or 45 minutes.
Okay. So I hear you very well. It's clear. What about Dave?
Oh, hi.
I can hear him.
Pardon me. I'm eating a burrito.
I can hear you eating now. So when
it sounds very good.
What's interesting is that I have a little window up at a little box up at the top. It's telling me who's talking. Ryan, you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah,
see now
if I've got
Ryan.
video on, you'll see my little video, and then if Dave starts talking, you'll see his little iPad icon.
What? Okay. Yeah, so I see Ryan with like a giant picture of a flute or something behind him. And then, me, I'm just this little snowman. Sad.
Oh, you're a snowman?
Yeah, just, a head and a torso.
Yeah, I don't see you at all, Dave. I just see
it's just a generic avatar. Now I see the picture of the Earth.
Okay. Okay, so I see. Yeah. Whoever's talking, the screen will switch to that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Or no?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Now the Golden Gate Bridge is behind Ryan.
Yeah, I see that, but wait. If I click, how do I control who's going to be seen in the main one? Pin video. Okay.
Whoever's talking is going to be seen. If you've got it on full screen, then that's just their way of trying. There've been a lot of people trying to work on a solution to this. When you get into large meetings, corporate or otherwise, and you don't know everybody's voice in the meeting, and not everybody's using video, that's just a way to know who's talking. Because I don't know if you've ever been in a meeting like at a new company or something, and you don't know 10 of the people, and you're in a virtual meeting, and there are all these different people talking, and you're like, who the hell is that?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's well, we're not going to have, our meetings are not going to be that big at first. Okay.
Then if I go to gallery view, I see everybody for at least a little bit.
Okay, so you can each person can control it?
Well, a little bit. It
like,
automatically,
This is another thing, like I can share my screen, and I think I might have to ask permission from you, but can y'all see my screen now?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, okay.
You got Gmail? Oh, yeah. I see your like email or something.
So how do I get out of that? Swap shared screen.
I'll stop sharing, and then you can hit the little folder with the arrow coming out.
I saw where I could do that. I saw where I could get out of it. So how do I share? I know. Okay, here it is. I can share something. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do a whiteboard and draw on it, and
nice.
share your desktop. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So can I control? Okay. So so this is my new screenplay that I started because I was frustrated with the I've been so focused on the Thomas screenplay, and it's really a discipline because of trying to keep things according to the facts, and art will run the whole range from like just do whatever you imagine and create it, so you can produce the movie, or you're basically trying to recreate what everyone should agree was reality. And I mean, you're doing they're two different modes, but I think that's more difficult for me because I start out with abstract and just make up shit, and when you make it up in your head and then people are like, oh, wow, that's cool. I never thought of that. I get that reaction a lot. And then yeah, I don't know why they do that, but I mean, we have a gift, right? As artists, we have a gift. But basically, it's, the whole thing, I was frustrated because when you put yourself to that discipline and you're trying to do art according to real life, like reenacting or doing documentary, and then when you don't, you realize the rug gets pulled out from under you a little bit. And then I want to go more towards, okay, let's just, play around with these ideas. We don't have to prove reality. My subject guy, my Thomas is the main character. I don't know if he's really proving reality. So what difference does it make? Always ready to come out with my reputation as a person who can logically and with the provability, here's the evidence, and just like an investigator would do. So that would line up with a court case. But if somebody a movie is being made out of somebody and they don't want to really cooperate, then it's sort of like, let's just make it into a fiction. We can do a parody. We can just imagine stuff.
Yeah, like the Matrix made by the Romans.
Yeah. Yeah, but the point is,
how'd you get the Matrix behind you?
I just loaded it from online, like an image, and you can go down to your camera and choose a virtual background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Aga.
Yeah, I'm like, who is that guy? How did it do that? Wait, manually pick the color of the background. Okay, let me see. If I want this color, it didn't work. I have a green screen, it says. Anyhow, that's not really that important at this point.
Yeah.
But what's important is going to be the recording, and yeah, I think I'll do this. See,
Yeah.
I'll be Podbean on Zoom, which might be, Zoom may not like this, but well, I'm basically waiting. I invited Selena, and I had to send out the invites by email because I don't think she's on here.
You should have a link as well that I think you sent in the email. You can just text to somebody or whatever if they're on their phone.
Yeah, but I had see the way I'm doing this here. I can't text it. I'd have to retype out the whole link. Maybe I sent it to the wrong person. but that's okay. So we have a number of different sites. Maybe I have to look into them to make a final decision on. Oh, okay, you're there. What is that? I'm going to stop my video for a second. What is that?
It's a drink cup with a bird head and a Porg plush doll that from Star Wars. Oh God.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I'm in a cheap 80s VHS TV show for local access.
I'm just trying to see, because when I'm not broadcasting video, I don't know how to see anybody. Is anybody
Get rid of that.
is anybody broadcasting video yet? Right now?
will. If there we go.
I thought I was.
Okay, so you did. When Ryan decided to broadcast video, my screen changed.
Yeah, and then Dave, if you go down to the video, you might have chosen a background and all that only you can see until you select the video icon.
Oh, good Lord.
Enable it. You can do that by your name, by going to the video icon, I think, or well, one in the bottom left, stop sharing or start sharing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so Selena, can you hear? Can you talk?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear.
Oh,
Okay.
hey, I can hear
Awesome.
you this time. That's amazing. Because for some reason Podbean didn't work. It didn't succeed, and not sure what to think about that. But this one has more capabilities. I might even make a decision to pay so that it releases some more of the functions that we can have. So let's see. I can share stuff. How is that when I shared the can you
Not showing yet.
Yeah, I'm going to share this one here. Can you see, what is it that you see?
There it goes. Your screenplay.
So weird.
Yeah, this is just I'm just using WordPad. Can everybody see that?
It's kids TV. Wow.
Oh, you uploaded. Yeah, there you go. That's great. Now, when I do this, do you see the letters bigger?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is showing you do that. Okay, so it's exactly like my desktop. Yeah. Okay. So maybe we'll talk about the movie. Just stop share that. Maybe.
Well, not gonna happen.
Advanced portion. So I'm just trying this because I don't know, content from a second camera I can put up. Huh. Files. Oh, so I see. I have to have it opened up on my computer already or it doesn't show. Okay. All right, let me do that. I'm going to do that because I didn't have it open. I'm going to go to my files of Thomas and the movie, the research I've done. Oh, I got a question for you, Ryan. What about audio files, pre-recorded files? Can I share that right now?
Oh, let's see. I'm not sure. You can try real quick and maybe put us all on mute, or we can do that. But try and open an audio file real quick and see.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna open an audio file, and it'll play in one of my apps. And then let's see. Let's see if it plays through. Give it one more second here. Did everybody hear that?
Not well.
Not really. No.
Okay, let me see if it'll share it. Okay, there we go. And I'll share that. Do you see what I'm looking at with the music app?
Yeah.
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 Okay, now I'm gonna play it. Can you hear that?
No.
So you can look at it visually, but you can't hear the sound.
Well, it doesn't appear to be playing. Oh, I heard it for a split second.
Did you hear that? Selena, could you hear the recording playing?
No, I couldn't really hear it.
Okay, so basically that means that I can only share things visually, and the only audio we're going to hear.
I mean, I could tell it was playing, but it was way too low.
That's probably something I could figure out how to replace my mic. Wait, so maybe, here, I got an idea, guys. I'm going to mute my mic and then see if you can hear the recording. Okay? Okay, so did anyone hear that?
Not really.
No.
No.
There is a way to share files, like file transfer within the meeting. I'm looking at this.
So I'd have to download the file to you, maybe?
Yeah, and then we'd have to open it on our own machines, I think.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
That means I'm giving everybody the files. That, I mean, I just want to play it through. Wait.
You know what? You could, if you had a phone or something, I don't know how good your speakers are and pickup would be, but if you had a phone or another device, a tablet or something, you could play it on that and hold it up to your computer mic.
Yeah, I can hold it up to the mic. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit old school, you know. I just want to do things directly. Well, that's okay. I don't need to. Maybe I just gotta show things visually here. I'll show you. I did. Let's see if we can look at the. Let me see. Let me share this now, huh? Where is it? Okay. Getting lost. My computer's not that great.
Actually, you know what? Another fix to that, and it's almost equally clunky, but you could call into the meeting on your phone and then play whatever on your phone as your participant of your phone.
You can call
you can
in.
at least double. Yeah, I can be on here in the computer and I can get on my phone and call in with the actual phone number to the meeting, and then I can talk through my phone and my computer. if you do it that way, you'd want to be sure and mute whichever one you weren't using for audio. Like if you call in on your phone, you play the file as your phone, and you need to mute your computer because otherwise there's going to be a lot of feedback.
I didn't know that. So this is different than, this has more capabilities.
Yeah, the invite you sent. Okay, well, it doesn't have a lot of them will have a phone number to call in, and I think you can set that in the, in any event, you can go to that web address on your phone, or you can, if you allow for a call-in number to be added, they can call from any phone in the world or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So we're probably coming to the time limit, and here's Thomas. I have a lot of folders here where I did the background research, all of this stuff, what the other parties were saying, people who worked on the actual production. So some of this will go into the book. Just double checking all my sources. What's interesting, Thomas Althouse always talks about the fact that Neo was named Thomas A. Anderson. So that's Thomas, that would be Thomas Althouse Anderson. And on his passport, it expires on September 11th, 2001. So that's pretty spooky because that means they knew, when they made the movie, they knew about 9/11 several years before it was going to happen. So these people are well connected.
And another thing about that date in particular, one of the conversations I had with Tom, he was going on about how the Wachowskis were into numerology, and 2 and 11 are meaningful numbers to Tom. And gosh, this has been a while, but I asked him, and it was something to do with his birthday that I added up, and I'm not into numerology. I just thought it was weird that, like, my birthday, everything equals 7 for me. Everything, like my birth time, my birthday, all that.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about it and asking if 2 and 11 were meaningful to him, but that's 2001 and 9/11. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Is that
Selena,
passport image from one of the movies?
that's a still shot from the movie, the first one.
Okay.
And so Selena, you study numerology a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know a lot on it.
Right, so this is another screenshot which had to be flipped around, rotated 180 degrees. And it's basically the agent was looking at his dossier when they, trying to arrest him and offer him work for us kind of deal, and we won't prosecute. So this is the insert that he always talks about. This is how the people that were on the production team were able to prove to him that it was stolen. So then he was always telling me this for many months until I figured out they're doing this to mock you. If you see the person that actually, the department head is also here. You see on the on the right-hand side, it says Michelle McGahee. John Anderson is Michelle McGahee listed under Thomas A. Anderson. That's listed as the mother of Neo, but she's actually the director of the art department on the movie production. So there's a lot of like kind of clever things that they did. But I'll tell you what, I have ways of getting to the bottom of this, and it's going to take me a little more time. But it's not what Thomas is suggesting. So the agenda for the meeting is to find out if Thomas will agree to cooperate again. Because he used to cooperate. I'm going to show you all the recordings. Where is it? Oh. I have to go back to that. These are all the recordings. That's all of these here. They're called Zoom files. It has nothing to do with the site that we're on, but these are called Zoom files. They're just, I guess, MP3 or WAV. Now, most of them are WAV files. And this is not all of them. This is not all of them.
And these are all interviews?
These are all from the past year I was working with. Actually, I only work with them about 7 to 8 months. So this is, I think, maybe 2/3 of them. So each one of these is a recording. Yeah, here it shows you the
oh wow. 27, 59, 57.
This one's an hour. So I mean, literally, I've put hundreds of hours into it, even though I wasn't able to document everything, but it's enough. And the thing is, I really need to talk to Pat Robertson, and I need to do that pretty soon. I mean, we can start filming, you know, and start to capture some of these scenes, and I don't mind doing that before I go to Pat Robertson, because then I have something in the can, and I can tell him, because I wouldn't lie. If I go in there, I'm going to say we are in the midst of filming this, or I'm going to say we are going to start in the near future.
Do you believe, Eggman, that Pat Robertson is going to be forthcoming?
Well, I just know how to handle things like that. I don't think he wants to be forthcoming.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you, he's the kind of person who has a lot of power and money and influence, and he's not going to want to be forthcoming. He may want to seem like it so he can deceive me. Yeah. He'll try to figure out, he already knows I'm coming over there.
Yeah.
But as far as, is he going to be, I'll be able to determine that, if that's what you mean. I can tell. He's not going to play me. The thing with Thomas is that I feel like I'm getting a little bit played by him, but I don't think he premeditated that. I think he just got, when he gets threatened, because the contract that he talks about he did sign a contract, but then I gave him the follow-up was all the details for, you know, much more details. In fact, let me see if I can get that contract up here. And what
just
he,
real quick, Agamemnon, did you hear anything from the Red Pill people or V or any of them?
no, I didn't hear back from Red Pill 78. Not
Okay.
yet. So
Where's Pat Robertson? I haven't heard of him.
you
The
said what?
700 Club?
I haven't heard of this Pat Robertson. Is he?
Look him up.
Well, it's
Okay.
a long story. Yeah, he's a televangelist Christian coalition guy that had a famous TV show, the 700 Club, and hosted
Yeah.
a lot of different shows with different people and events. And he owns a ton of diamond mines in Africa and runs a very
Oh, that guy. I
authoritative.
know of him. I don't really like any of the shows that he puts out. They seem so like fake.
Yeah, he's
Like he seems to be one of those televangelists that's about money.
Oh yeah.
yeah, but all of the televangelists are about money. That's why if they're not about money, you wouldn't know their name.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's the thing. If I had half the money that they had, you know, everybody would know my name right now.
And right now, folks, the Holy Spirit is touching someone and leading them to write that $1,000 check. And I want to ask all of you to be obedient to the Holy Spirit now.
Okay, so this is the agreement that he did sign. I was looking for the more involved one. This the one he did sign, and I'll bring this up at the actual meeting because, or I may put it on a web page so that everyone has a chance to look at it before the meeting. And he read this. He read this in front of witnesses and myself, and he did sign it in front of a notary who identified him. So that is the definition of a contract. So whatever it says in here, he's bound to do, and so am I. So he's not a child, you know, and a child would not be, it would not be permitted to sign a contract because they don't have responsibility. This is from Harold and Maude, and I don't know if you saw that movie, but the woman here is a person that hangs out a lot with the main character Harold, and this one here, her father was Grandpa Walton in the Walton series, which is real popular in the 70s and 80s.
Was it now?
Well, I just remember that. I'm saying because, you know, Selena wouldn't really know that. She's a little younger. So this woman is Ellen Geer, and Thomas spent a lot of time with Grandpa Walton's daughter. She's actually in her late 60s now, and she lives in Topanga. And I went to go see her, but I didn't.
Would she be related to Will Geer?
Yeah, that's
big. Yeah, because I remember back in the day, reading about Woody Guthrie, he was friends with Will Geer, and Topanga Canyon was where they'd hang out.
Right. So right now they have a theater, and she's running it because Will Geer, he passed away in like I don't remember, 90s or late 80s. Yeah, they're all connected in with Woody Guthrie, and yeah, they're like artists and musicians and stuff. The old school California scene. So that's her background. Thomas, after he got out of the hospital, he went there to kind of get more acting experience. So that's what he did. I'm looking for the other contract. And this is Lenny Coco, who is the person that Thomas went to for the pitch. And this is Sophia Stewart, who has been talking with Thomas a long time. This is a real Spielberg's guy. This is a real Spielberg's guy. All right, who I'm not.
I see Spielberg.
Yeah, and that's Spielberg's guy, but I am not one of Spielberg's guys.
Come on.
I will never admit to that, because then I will get fired and Spielberg will not pay me. I mean,
The message will self-destruct or something. Form of the messenger will self-destruct.
now, the reason why I have this is because Weinstein was after me for one of my scripts, but here's what Spielberg's guy used to write to Mr. Althouse, stating that he's a fraud and a phony. And this is real Spielberg's guy. So whenever Thomas Althouse says you're Spielberg's guy, it's not a good label to be under. So I studied racketeering and the RICO Act, and I know what's entailed in the RICO Act. And I had introduced the idea to Thomas that he's a victim of RICO crimes. He had never, ever heard that before. So I'm really surprised that he had a lawyer and he went into federal court and nobody figured out that every accusation and claim he's making fall under RICO charges. So.
And what are RICO?
RICO is like anytime that there's a head of a criminal actions, multiple criminal actions, there is a head and they are controlling multiple people to commit these crimes.
I think it has to be in multiple states as well.
Yeah, these things usually cross boundaries, because if it's just
federal,
yeah, that's always federal. Yeah, I can't imagine someone having such a big organization and only doing it within one state, and it never crosses the line as far as selling something to another state or communicating to somebody in another state. So it always involves a large network, and it basically, the crimes that they commit are can be stealing intellectual property, fraud, extortion, harassment, so basically what he is telling me, and what will be shown in the movie, is that the movie industry repeatedly and systematically monitor him and restrict his life, threaten him, they make him lose his jobs, not only threaten but kill members of his family. So if all this can be proven, that's all under the RICO Act. So charges under the RICO Act are pretty severe. So the penalties, I mean. And that means that everyone he's talking about, and I have a list of almost 36 people who are implicated, they're all going to be put away for life. But the problem was, I said, I can do a movie, but, you know, we can get that together. Maybe that's a great project to create a studio. But as far as the court case, that's way beyond me. And I think it's way beyond any law firm that I've ever heard of. So I told him I can't really get the court case going and do the movie at the same time. I can do a little bit, I can juggle it, but I told him because I can't really be a party to it. I came along later. They haven't done anything to me that I've been able to prove yet. So I'm not a party to this. However, if I find out anything about Nico, or there's other things that have gone on that I'm suspicious about, so then I would be a party to it. But a good attorney is hard to find, especially for a case like this. I'm trying to find the rest of that other contract.
Are all of you guys up in New York area?
Oh no, I'm in Los Angeles.
This is the script. It's undergoing rewrite. This version here is not formatted properly. Also, it just depends. This is Otika and Thomas and Regina, Thomas, Otika. This is when they're in Virginia, Lenny Coco's house with Thomas. So the reason why I haven't sent out too many sides or proceeded is, you know, basically because the way Mr. Althouse is conducting himself. Here's some of the sides that I did send out. You can see here. And here's the book. I'm selling the book for about $1,000 a copy, so I haven't gotten anyone to buy it yet. But I did that because I wanted the movie industry to get frustrated, because if they sent anyone in there from Warner Brothers and they weren't willing to pay $1,000, then they'd have to try real hard to spy on us.
Is there a Kindle edition, man?
Yeah, there will be. So this is my first draft this is the first draft version of the book that I wrote. So it's eventually, when people get signed into the syndicate, I'll give access to all this material, including the recordings. I'll give access to the working script, but the one that I'm refining right now, 2.0, is not going to be ready for a while. So I just got the message from Zoom, though, that they were allowing us to exceed the recording.
I bet it's because of their popularity now. I bet you anything, yeah.
Yeah, I bet they're rolling. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. This is the wait. Here's a screenshot of how I did the agreement. You could see wait. My address there. See, this is a partnership between, yeah, and here's, you see Thomas listed there? This is the partnership between me and Thomas, my legal name and Thomas' legal name. This right here, this partnership agreement is the one he refused to sign. So when he's talking to people now, he's only telling a half truth, because he did refuse to sign this one, but the other one he did sign, because the other one leads to more details. We'd have to sign a lot more, and he didn't do it. He read through it, which tells you he does read through and understand the contracts. And he understood at this contract that I gave him, this one you're looking at now on the first page of it, at the end I stated that if he decides to leave the company before any of this is completed, in other words, the 2 whole movies, if he decides to leave, which he's allowed to do, he forfeits all of his royalties and all of the rights to it. Because I retained, I go back to 100% ownership if he quits. All right? So he didn't like that. But intuitively, I knew to put that clause in there and to do it that way, because that's exactly what he's doing right now. If he wouldn't sign that, because he always intends to operate that way. He likes to get things started and then he bails out. So I tested him out and I found out that's what he's going to do. And maybe that means he's done that to the studios. Maybe they really didn't steal it from him. Maybe they did contact him and he just wanted to say, I'm not going to work on it with you. I'll work on it with somebody else. Maybe that's, you see what I'm saying? Like what he's doing to me right now with the documentary movie. And it might be the same thing that he did to Warner Brothers in the mid-90s.
Mm.
Maybe there was some kind of a deal cooked up and they said, all right, we're going to love to do this. We'd love to do your story. And then once they started doing it, he may have just pulled out on them. Because it's exactly what he did to me.
Hey, hour per hour, you're up to 3 hours.
So they may have gotten really frustrated that he said, he might have said, I'm not going to give you the rights. I'm going to give it to somebody else. I'm going to do it a different way. And they might have been like, fuck this. You gave us the agreement. We're going to produce this anyhow. We'll just put another writer on it and rewrite it. I'm starting to suspect that that's what he did, but he's not admitting that. Because why would he be doing that to me right now after he signed the agreement?
Yeah. But as far as we know, Hollywood and Warner Brothers is totally denying any such claim. Or do we know that?
Well, see, that's the thing. I have some, basically the court case. I do have that. I can't open it right now. Yeah, they did talk about some of this in the court case. So can you see the video?
Yeah.
Can you see that? Can you hear it?
I can't hear it. I can just see it.
Pete Seeger, what's he doing there?
He's playing a banjo.
But what does he have to do with the Matrix?
He's in the movie.
Get out. Get yourself out of the Matrix.
Well, I just wanted, since I'm in these folders here, we can see that there's a lot of other projects in the agenda here for Milky Media. A lot of them, and a lot of them are very completely original. So this is going to be mostly animated with some live action mixed in. It's been a long time cooking. See, you can see here it says started in 2011. So Milky Media didn't start until last year. So Milky Media was the time where it seemed like it could all come together and it was time to launch things, because we do have a lot of properties. What you bring to investors in the beginning is sweat equity, and you can put a value on your sweat equity, and that's basically our main holding right now. Not only that, like, I have pretty high level of skills, and that can be tested by anybody in the industry. So that also has a value on it. Are we still going to go with the Thomas story? Yeah, we go with the Thomas story. And I think that even with the delay, I'll just speed it up and we'll get it out there. I projected the end of December to release, get it into distribution. I think the crisis is going to clear up before November. So it's going to be a different world. Because people will have lasting effects from what's going on. And I kind of anticipated that, because if you read some of the the goals and the purposes of Milky Media, its reason to be a company, it has to do with what's happening in the world right now. So I didn't, this kind of thing hit the world from between January to February. It really started to get in front of people. And here's one of the people that just found out that the coronavirus has taken over.
I don't know about that.
It's
It's
just
had a bowl of soup on the wall.
a bowl of some gruel.
Some kind of animal soup, maybe.
It's certainly an existential fugue.
It's like it's a bat.
Bat shark fin soup. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's okay, but he's
I'm really digging these
he's
little kids.
actually looking at the virus. That's it in the air. It says airborne. Yeah, that's it.
It's grown. It's multiplied and grown more powerful.
Yeah.
Not too fearful.
Here's the guy. He ate the pod bean.
Yeah.
We have some more of this scripting.
Just a bat. No.
It's just a bat.
I'm sorry. I know that's ignorance, but bicycle.
Yeah, there's one of the characters never used any words the right way. Kids love that stuff. This is for a kid's show. Kind of like Dr. Seuss but I'm getting tired of Dr. Seuss, to be honest with you. I've heard enough of it. Let's see, here's maybe this is the contract. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. This is the whole contract. Wait. Here's the whole contract. Okay. And he read this. He read this several days after we signed the other one. So the partners wish to associate themselves by article number 2, the name will be Milky Media Syndicate. Milky Media Syndicate is an LLC, and all that stuff's been registered. It's also now has the EIN from the IRS. Okay, so you see the date here. You see the place of business, as that's the one that we were just going to use. I'm going to change that eventually. Okay, capital contribution. Now, this is what I was talking about with the sweat equity. I was saying that he's bringing much more because of his story. So he got it swelled up in his head and said, okay, I'm bringing that much in, but if I quit, I lose everything as far as his capital contribution. Capital contribution is defined later on. It isn't cold hard cash. But I talked about ownership. I talked about profits and loss, that I would account for that. But according to my own calendar. So I have my own calendar. I'll let you guys know later about that. Any vote required, accounting, annual report, everything was good. Management was also okay. He agreed that I would be named as the managing partner, so he didn't have to do it. Tax matters. Meetings, admitting a new partner also was delineated. He was okay with that. Here you go. This article here is where he started to have problems. Voluntary withdrawal of a partner. Okay, so if you read that, he started to have a problem. A disassociated partner.
And he ended up not signing this?
Yeah, he wouldn't sign it because he didn't like the idea that if he wanted to quit, which he likes to do, if he wanted to quit, then he would lose ownership. So this really, as we went into the last part of the summer, this is why he decided to go full throttle on interviews and to tell everybody he doesn't have an agreement. And instead of doing what you do in a movie production, he wants to have the whole world produce this. So I think he's getting ahead of himself. I think that we don't live in that kind of a world. I don't know how we would ever. Okay, these are the terms of dissociation of a partner, which is Article 27, dissociation. Oh, I'm sorry. He was getting a little bit sketchy when he read that, but now here's the clincher. Article 28. I'm partner number 1. If he tries to dissolve Milky Media, I retain 100% of assets. So why I did this, and Ryan and Dave and Selena, you understand where I'm coming from. Thomas has a questionable record with the movie industry. Milky Media doesn't. So is my obligation and my purpose to protect Milky Media. If Thomas did something to try to pull apart Milky Media, I protected it by this. If he tries to do dissolution of the company, I retain 100% assets. That is a deterrent for him to leave the company when everything relies on his cooperation. That's a deterrent to him pulling the plug on everything.
Yeah, and there's no reason for you to explain that to me, Agamemnon. I know like business is business, and that's just covering your ass pretty much, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and if you read the other contract, I'm not asking him to do work. I'm just asking him to consult and talk about it, and he'd get a salary. He doesn't need to put money up front. I'm doing all the work. I'm bringing all the investors in. I'm doing directing. I'm doing editing. I'm taking care of distribution. My position is called continuator. I go from beginning to end and make sure everything goes through until we're selling this and starting to make a profit. So that's what Milky Media is for. If he wants the services of Milky Media, then he can't quit on us and try to destroy the company, or else I keep 100% of the assets and he loses any profit. So now why would he then go ahead and say he never wanted any of the profit? So if he never wanted any of the profit, just sign the agreement. Nothing to put in, nothing to lose. So titles of partnership property, force majeure, duty of loyalty is an interesting one because he's totally breaking this article. No partner will engage in any business venture transaction. You see what it says, competitive? That's exactly what he's doing right now.
Yeah, but if he didn't sign this one.
Right. He didn't sign it. But he said he would sign it if I would change the Article 28. And I said, and also, and the other thing is, how much do you want in the long run? Because originally he said, I'll give you 80% of everything from the court case. And that was going to be another contract. Because I said, Thomas, if you sign this, I'm still wondering, if I help you with the court case and you get a big settlement, how much are you putting into Milky Media, since you're the partner also? He said right away, and he said forwards and backwards, I'll give you 80%. So I said, let's see, you're gonna get at least 800 million to 1.5 billion or more in a big lawsuit. So 80%, okay. So if you keep 20%, you're getting at least 200 million just for yourself personally, and possibly over half a $500 million. Then he went and discussed it with his son. And when he discussed it with his son, he told me, he reversed it. He said, we only want to give you 20%. So that means he says right now that he doesn't want to make a penny on it. How come he told me he wanted to keep 20%? Then he said he wanted to keep 80%, but then he's telling all the public, I want to keep 0%. He goes, with me, he goes down, then up, really high up, how much he wants, 80% of a settlement. Then he drops it down in the public and says, I don't want anything. That doesn't add up. This article is really good too, because it says the partner is beholden to act according. And it's all, I believe this is also the negative description of the loyalty. Because, you know, when you do in the Bible and you do the Torah, the law is delineated as what you cannot do and what you must do. So this is where you cannot do. Same basic thing, because the Bible is just full of law and forbidden acts. So I do look at it as this is the religion that we're living according to, and if someone can't do that, then they're not in on it. You know, we live by this, and I also don't think that any of this violates any of the higher law. You know, I have to reconcile it because I really do everything according to, you know, I'm a believer. I'm 100% a believer. Thomas wanted to have Jesus Christ appear at the end of this movie, and instead they turned it into Neo. So I think he's a believer too. It's just that he doesn't know who to trust. That's that. What is this here? Oh, okay, here you go. Here's my EIN if you want to write this down. The EIN is right here. This is from the IRS. Here's some more artwork. This is for other projects. Dave, you saw this, didn't you? Have you seen this one?
Yes.
We got non-disclosures. So yeah, why don't I open it up to anybody else you want to talk or give feedback before we close tonight?
how many people right now are part of this?
Hey, it's a good question.
Yeah, I muted myself. Hold on. Okay, can you still hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. How many people are, you mean in the production level or as far as applicants and new members potentially?
All of that, like just anyone related right now.
So the first number of people that are more in the loop and who probably, and I would include Dave, I would say about like just under 20 people. And then as far as the more people getting involved with the project, and new members that I haven't followed up with, you know, to have more, give more of the documents and more of the mission statement and such. That's over 100 people now who, you know, potentially I would say maybe half of them or more would get a more active role in the team, the production team. So people, you know, I really can't count some of them in there to being the producers because I can't do a sin of omission with them. I can't go to them and not say what Thomas has done. I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, what would I say? I have to at least say he started up doing productions with other people, which I don't have proof of that. I only know that that's what he's saying, so I have to believe it. You know, I like to literally hear from the first producer saying, yeah, we're working on this. We're very committed to doing a documentary. You know, that maybe that'll happen if they come to a meeting. Then as soon as I hear that, you know, I can't take on a producer without telling them that.
Yeah.
And then the producer is going to get in a discussion with me of, you know, how are you going to solve that? So I am doing a restructuring on this.
We got to keep in mind too that it could in fact just be a ruse. Who knows in the end? I mean, what if Nico doesn't know that something has to actually be produced before any legal action can be taken, and he's put him up to this to act like he's doing a documentary to show that somebody's going to come after him legally? No idea.
Well, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought up Nico. I have his phone number. I haven't called him back in more than a month. And I only have his phone number, so he needs to get invited. He needs to get invited. So do we have a volunteer for that? Or should I
Is it a cell number? Could you send him a text?
I can send him a text. Yeah. Because with the phone number, he does take text, so or somebody else could. See, the thing is, I'm not sure how he's going to react to me inviting him. I wish I could bring that. You know, I might be able to bring that up right now. I like to show this text that he sent because he's not Thomas, but he is
Acting like he is.
well, they call him the architect now.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that. I have my text saved. Where is it though, is the question. We have some self tapes also coming in. Before I find that, we have some self tapes. Which we're going to be doing more of that because people are not able to go in. Let me see if I don't know where.
You know something I thought? Like I saw like a lot of videos on the Wachowski brothers, and I found out like that they changed to like women.
Yeah.
I find that so weird.
They got gender reassigned.
According to Tom, Hollywood ordered him to do that to humiliate him. I mean, one of them, he says, doesn't at all feel comfortable wearing. He said if he was gender reassigned, why would he be looking like shit as a woman? Just going out and throw a dress on, no makeup, my hair's a mess. Like, I don't care.
I know. I feel
That's the bigger one of the two.
Yeah, that's. Here I have messages. Yeah, these are all my text messages. Let me see if I have. Unfortunately, I think these are the more recent ones. Yeah, this is not. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I'm having trouble finding that. Because that, that would be something to bring up at the meeting, especially if Nico doesn't show up, then I'm going to talk about all those texts that he sent. And, I had to make a decision that with that kind of personality, I can't work with someone like that in the syndicate. And I think he's done a lot of damage with Thomas. Yeah, the texts will prove it, But that doesn't mean I don't want him to have a chance to explain himself to the whole group. He goes on the interviews with Thomas, so.
What's Thomas's last name again?
Althouse, like
Althouse?
like ALT, and then House, HOUSE. And there's he either goes by Tom or Thomas. So this is going to kind of be a Woody Allen style philosophy of life, kind of like something slightly comical. I don't want it to be just comical. I don't want to try to make it comical. I want it to be like, I think people will laugh. It's kind of like a Harold and Maude type of thing, like the kid always trying to kill himself and it doesn't work out. Like, so this movie is If Death Was Different, and the guy dies. That's the first scene. He gets trampled by a hippo, which is not a likely way to die. And then he gets up.
They kill lots of people.
But not on the streets in a modern city.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, where did that hippo come from? So I didn't really expect it, and then it, the death, and then like you just basically, since you're dead, you have to go tell everybody you're dead, and they're just obviously really shocked. They're not shocked at the fact that I'm telling them I'm dead. They're shocked that I am dead, that I died. So you got see the difference. So it's a different take on death, where the person who dies actually gets to experience what everybody else does. Not as what's interesting, Mark Twain wrote that that piece where Tom Sawyer dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then he looks like a fly on the wall to see how everybody's reacting. This is like taking it one step further, where you don't have to be the fly on the wall and spy on people. You're just there, and they know you're dead, and you're going to be leaving soon. But you have that transitional period where you're dead, and you're telling them, what do you think? This really sucks.
I like it.
I don't think it's going to be a very long movie, but I think it'll be require some good acting. It can be relatively contemporary. Not a lot of special effects. There will be some, but not a lot. So, yes, Selena, did you look up? Oh, did you look it up?
Look up what? Oh, Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked him up.
What did you think? What do you think? What do you think about the search results?
I found it kind of underwhelming, to be honest. Like, I would have expected him to get more views.
Oh,
but I feel like it was weird that he got like not a lot of views at all.
You mean on his personal videos?
Well, like
the interviews?
Yeah, like I would have expected them to get more views.
Yeah. One thing about it though is he's not viral yet, but he's doing it the old elbow grease way and doing it blunt force. Like he's hitting as much as he can, and each one he's going to for an interview is a little bit bigger audience. Like he started out with a very, very small audience interview or whatever.
Right.
He's gaining momentum for sure. Or some. I'm not saying he's going to be like totally viral, but
yeah, this is what's interesting is that you could see that there's more than more than there used to be. When he did his YouTube channel in the years ago, he didn't have in the thousands of views. So I'm not sure why that is. And now he's getting tens of thousands of views because he's going to other channels. And maybe that's like Ryan says, you know, it could cause a chain reaction after a while. Yeah. So that was kind of a gray area for me. If you see that I wanted him to sign that partnership agreement with the details, I was accepting of interviews. What I'm not accepting of is he's going out actively with other people to make a movie, to make this movie. That seems to cross the line. Interview.
He's going with other people to. What is he doing?
He claims that he's making the movie with as many movie makers as possible. So in other words, it'd be feasible to say by early next year there could be like 10 movies made about him and Matrix being stolen. Or maybe only 2. We don't know how many, but according to what he wants, what he says he wants, the more the merrier.
The vibe I get though from the Red Pill 78 is that if anything comes out of that in the form of documentary, it's going to be like a short web video. It's not going to be, I don't believe it'll be a film, because those people are like podcasts and hosts of radio web shows, you know. And I may be wrong. They may have some producers in there in their midst. I'm not sure.
Okay. You know, I didn't know what type of thing they are, you know, what's their product, what's their end product. If it's just like what we're doing right now, you sit around talking about it, or one guy like doing the research and talking about it. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I'm not sure at all, but the vibe I get is that it'll be a web presentation. It'll be in the form of like a YouTube video, maybe an hour long or whatever. I may be totally wrong there, and I have no clue in reality. But
yeah. But you know, I get kind of the same feeling that from looking at their they had a web page or a website with a couple pages there, and they didn't seem to be very involved with the whole you know, casting and distributing and you know, getting a release into the theaters. It doesn't seem like that.
yeah.
It just seemed like you know, put it out there right away, you know, on the internet. So, but that's okay. If that's what they want to do, it sounds like it's along the same lines as doing the interviews.
Dave, do you have a favorite guitarist?
That's tough. There's quite a few, but you know, top of my head, you know, Neil Young, Eric Clapton, but but I like a lot of kind of old new wave, like Television, Talking Heads. But you know, guitars, you know, yeah. Stevie Ray Vaughan, as far as, guitarist goes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, you guys know there's a comet out there now.
Is it visible?
If you have a really clear sky, and you look just before the sunrise, it's going to appear above where the sun is going to come up, because it's coming in from the north. So you gotta look a little bit towards the north, but it'd be like the northeast, I believe, and it's right when Venus will be close to the sun. The closer Venus gets to the sun over the next 2 months, it'll be getting like in between the Earth and Venus kind of area. Basically in Gemini and Taurus. People were saying that it's going to be difficult to see it because of the brightness of the sun where it's coming in. It's already very close to where we'll be seeing the sun. And you can only see it in the mornings. But what they are saying, this comet's going to be really bright. And I haven't seen a bright comet for a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in many, many years.
Yeah, it could be interesting. I think they're an omen. I think that they talk about them in the Bible.
Didn't we see Haley's in like 89?
Haley was in 86.
Oh.
In the early spring. And sometimes Haley's is very bright. It all depends on I don't know what it depends on, because it's supposed to be on the same track, and
I think it's if it gets all charged up by going close to the sun. I'm not sure. So.
Well, it's a periodic one, a short period, which is every 76 years.
75, 6 years, yeah.
So if it does that, it's coming in the same track, and I don't know why it would be different. Some years, sometimes it's brighter than. They've made some paintings that it was Halley's Comet that appeared when Jesus was born. But they actually, if they're accurate, the year would have been 12 BC. So we already know that Jesus wasn't born in the year 1 AD. We already know. I think everybody agrees to that.
Yeah, well, they didn't have that calendar back then.
Well, no. Beyond that, when you reverse calculate it, when you convert it to the present calendar, it still doesn't work out. When they made that calendar, they tried to line it up with his birth, but they didn't do it right.
Anyways.
But if you believe some of these magazines, that they do, instead of all the paintings that you typically are used to, the kind of religious paintings, they did have you seen that image in the Scientific magazine where he shows the face like he's a caveman?
What? Jesus the caveman? I haven't seen that.
I mean, it's the expression of his face. looks like the people that I've seen in the Middle East, the people that are there currently. Because I've been to the Middle East, and it's not like you'll see this same type of look, like the style of features and everything. You'll see this every once in a while in America and every once in a while. But if you go to the Middle East, they do look like that. So what they're trying to say is that the people that are there now, 2,000 years after him, are the same exact way that he be looking. So my question is, how did all those people get there? Because if you read history, it's after Jesus that they were all driven out of the area. So I guess they forgot that really huge fact.
Yeah. That's right. The Bible was written people who were not there anymore. I'm sleepy.
Yeah, so we're gonna close this off, and hopefully we'll get a good recording of this. Does anyone mind if anyone else watches it, or do you want to keep it private?
I don't care.
Why don't I let everybody you could review it and then let me know. I'm probably pretty embarrassing in here or something like that, but but
yeah,
I
if you
really
leave out all the stuff I said about bat soup, just for the record, I don't believe it was contagion from a bat or anything like that. But
all right, I'm gonna
not
try
even a pangolin.
I'm gonna try to censor that out. Let me see what I can
I'm
do.
crawfishing now.
Crawfish pirates.
Some of the memes, though, I don't know if you've seen them, but there's a hilarious one that's got a little bat sprawled out, and he says, "Eat more chicken." Right in front of it.
That's good.
We were just talking about that. Like they just really pick on the bat, and then another year they picked on the swine, and they
Yeah.
pick on birds.
Birds, yeah. And even ethnicities, the Spanish flu.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, they probably had something against the Spanish that year. What will be the next animal, Dave? Anyone or Selena? What do you think? What's an animal we can all agree to hate?
An animal we can all agree to hate.
Yeah, the tick flu.
Yes,
An
but that's not an
ocelot.
animal.
An ocelot.
Oh,
A
A
what?
wallaby.
the onslaught, the ocelot.
I think
What?
well, an animal that I hate is the spider.
Oh yeah.
So,
Arachnid flu, yeah. Or would that be arachnid?
But why doesn't anyone see the fact that Batman is named after a bat, and can't we hate Batman now?
Don't
I
let
just,
him cough on you.
but no, Batman is like its own thing. Batman is, when you call it a Batman, it has nothing to do with a bat anymore. Oh, and just by the way, when it comes to the subject of the movie, like how the Hollywood producers steal everything, if you want to see a case that's been proven, Batman was, basically always said that it was this guy Bob
Kane.
Bob Kane was the creator and the writer. He owned it, and he got paid all the money and got all the credit and the fame. But actually, it's been proven that he stole it from like a friend.
Well, he asked that guy to help him, and that guy came up with a hell of a lot of what actually became Batman, and he never gave him credit.
Yeah, he never gave him any credit. I don't think he even paid him much at all, if anything. So
who was the guy
But
that they stole it from?
Yeah, I want to
Oh,
remember his name.
oh my God, I forgot his name. There's a documentary, I think, I could be on Netflix about this, you know.
So I found that was a very interesting case, and that
Yeah, but that case is proven because they actually have an interview with Bob Kane admitting to this. So they have,
well,
you know,
he
true
may have
proof.
eventually admitted, but he kept that up for many decades.
Oh yeah, he didn't admit it till the guy was dead already.
Ever said? Oh, there you go. So you know what? Until Thomas is dead, no one's going to admit anything. That's basically the way it goes. So, even if Thomas is not cooperating right now, I'm just going to end on this note. I don't have anything against him. I just hope that whatever thing that's done wrong is made right. Just to use the
Yeah.
good and evil, right and wrong, what do you call it, duality. It is something that I think they shouldn't do it, but there's a lot of things that go that way in the world. But there is a reason for it. I'm sure there's overall there's a spiritual reason, and the reason is not just finding out about it, but doing something about it to change the way the world operates. So that's kind of like one of my missions is not just to find out, oh, okay, I just want to prevent this type of thing. Because if you think about it hypothetically, if he had written something and it's a really valuable body of work, they should do it that way and kind of coordinate with him. Apparently they didn't, and for whatever reasons, I don't know whose fault it is. I don't know who. I shouldn't be so vague after researching this for so long, but at some point we just have to get everything down into the movie and just put it that way and move on to the next project. Nothing's going to be perfect. There's so many other things going on in the world. I think we just do enough with it and release it, and then the public will probably be able to get the message, and then if they need to study it more, they can go further with it. So that's all we're going to do with this. Yeah. So I'm going to just decide when we could have the bigger meeting now that we've tested things out, and I should be able to know that. I was going to shoot for Saturday. I'm not sure at this point yet if it's going to be Saturday, but I'll let you know pretty soon.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Nice meeting you, Dave. Nice meeting you, Selena.
Yes, nice to meet you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. How does it work? I don't know.